Welcome to Supernatural Saturdays here on the Bald Brad channel. Folks, if you are new to the Bald Brad show or Supernatural Saturdays, first off, welcome. And second, what this is it gives us a day and an opportunity to step aside from the politics, the news, the craziness of the world, and go on a little bit of an adventure and explore the supernatural, the paranormal, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, all those crazy cool things that we would read when we were kids. That's what we explore here on Saturday and have a little fun with stuff. Now, the story that I'm going to go over today is one that I've been sitting on for a few days now. It is local to me, about a few hours south of where I'm at in San Diego. San Diego saw these lights in the sky for about an hour, and they were just sitting there and floating there. They got multiple angles of this stuff. And a lot of people are going aliens, UFO, the military got involved, which we're going to cover in a second. And I really need your help with this one because I'm going to show some video after this one that we're about to show, going over the report of what took place, that makes it seem normal, that it is just the military. But at the same time, the video also doesn't do justice to what is being seen by the viewers, by the people of San Diego as well. So we're going to go over that right now, and then we're going to go over another story of the military and soldiers witnessing UFOs that's different than this one. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's jump into this video here from San Diego News, ABC 10 News.
They always say, look to the skies. You might find something you're not aware of.
Mystery lights in the sky Monday night, seen across San Diego.
They're just appearing.
Tijuana that left everyone with the same question. What is that? ABC 10 News reporter Sofia Hernandez talked to people who witnessed that spectacle and uncovers what the lights could really be.
This was something different. It just was, and it felt something different too.
Natasha Reichert and her mother Donna were taking a late night stroll when they saw two pulsating lights in the sky.
What do you?
Oh, I definitely thought it wasn't from here.
They raced back to their perch that overlooks La Jolla. They compared the lights to a plane, a boat, and were unsure of what it could be.
And these were coming back and going, moving different directions, and then all of a sudden getting, clustered together. And yeah, it was just not. It was definitely not of this world.
The lights could be seen all across San Diego, even from Federico Burin's home in Rosarito, Mexico.
It caught my attention and I decided to start recording this to analyze it later.
Federico says he thought it had to do with the military.
I'm very realistic. I don't believe in those conspiracy theories or anything like that. I just want an explanation to find out what's going on.
While others say the flashing lights that stayed in the sky for roughly 20 minutes can't be explained.
Realistically, if they were flares, you would see them flickering. These were not flickering. They were not moving, and there was a light breeze. So if that was a flare, they would be moving.
The San Diego Fire Department told ABC 10 News that the flares could be seen 5 miles offshore. They believe the orange glow was flares. The Coast Guard told ABC 10 News they believe the Navy was conducting flare training with expired flares. A Coast Guard spokesperson said the reason the flares stayed in the sky is so that distress signals can be seen. However, ABC 10 News is still awaiting confirmation from the Navy to make sure this phenomenon was just an earthly coincidence.
Okay, so that pattern that you're seeing of 3 across is something that isn't unique to flares coming from planes. And I actually have some footage here of the military utilizing flares in the night, and you can actually hear the sound of jets. So this video just comes from just a random channel, and you're going to hear the jets themselves when it plays. And you're going to see the same exact pattern, and then we'll go over kind of the discrepancies between this video and then the San Diego lights. So let's go over this right now. Hear the jet, and watch these flares coming from the jets. Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. That pattern is almost identical to what we just saw. And you can hear the jets clear as day. You can actually see it slightly distributing its flares. So you see I went 3 and then 1. He could have done 3 and 2 like we just saw in the video. But here's the tough thing. Did you see how quick they went out? And so that's kind of where I'm at in all of this is I don't know really what to think if it's flares, and if it is, what type of flares would last that long? I'm not a military person, so if somebody knows of anybody in the military, please ask them and leave me a comment down below on how long these flares are supposed to stay in the sky for. Because I've seen flares shot off a ship before, like a normal vessel done by just an average civilian. Those go up, you get the same type of light. It is very bright, but it doesn't last very long. Now, the report said that it was 20 minutes in length that those lights stood in the sky. But if you listen to Pat McAfee's show, he talks about seeing them for about an hour. And there's other people that documented this for well over an hour as well. So discrepancies in stories, but they're all seeing the same thing. And I don't know what to think of it. Somebody did do a time lapse of it where you do see them dropping slightly and then disappearing, but not by much. And you would think a flare would come up and go down. I don't know how light they are. So a lot of this is ignorance on my part, and I'm sure on others, which lead us to think it is some sort of alien or UFO activity. It is a UFO because it's just unexplained or unidentified. But I thought it was a little fun. Again, something I've been sitting on for Saturday here. Now, moving on to other things in terms of aliens, dozens of sailors confirm U.S. warships were swarmed by at least 100 UFOs. This has actually happened before off the coast of California, and that's what we're going to see once again. Sailors on a fleet of U.S. Navy warships sailing off the coast of Southern California repeatedly saw several ships in the convoy get swarmed by a host of UFOs. Quote, the incident went on for hours, and it happened again and again throughout the month, with craft hovering and zipping around the near fleet with flashing multicolored lights, and this was reported about July 2019. U.S. officials have dismissed the incident, with the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, Scott Brace, saying he was reasonably confident the UFOs were drones, which is possible. Now, like I said, this isn't the only time this has happened. On the Nimitz, there's recently more information that came about of just a ton of, I don't know what you would call them, signals coming across the radar. You had multiple ships tracking these UFOs on radar. They actually had the radar people come in and reboot the system because there were so many, they just thought it was an error. And mind you, the Nimitz had the most up-to-date, current type of radar that you could have. At least that's what we were told. They rebooted the thing and they still see them. And so they're just super confused. That's when they let off the jets to scramble and see if they can get a hold and actually get a view of these things. And that's where we get like the tic-tac and certain types of imagery coming from these planes. So this stuff is very common. Like you've seen, happens month after month. There's also reports of our Navy and aircraft engaging objects off the East Coast on a weekly basis. So it's not as if these are just drones. They don't know what these are. And like I said, it's happening all the time. And thankfully, more information's coming out. So, the documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell is an exclusive interview with DailyMail.com, says the crew from the ships have told him the swarms of at least 100 UFOs possess unexplainable capabilities far beyond traditional drones. And he warned that unless the government can determine who is behind the swarm, the intelligence failure would dwarf our mistakes made surrounding the events of 9/11. I don't care if these were drones or true UFOs, pyramids, triangles, or even seagulls with lights strapped into their wings or onto their wings. I want the fundamental question to be answered. Do we know who controls or are the controllers of these units? Meanwhile, the U.S. Air Force has repeatedly fired at UFOs in active war zones, according to another report. The Air Force routinely observes and at times even kinetically engages UAPs, which is unidentified aerial phenomena, in operationally sensitive areas around the world to this day. A service member with direct knowledge of recent UAP Air Force engagements said, according to The Sun, while some UAPs are eventually identified, too often others are hastily dismissed outright due to an inability to properly classify based on characteristics displayed and observed. During a recent House hearing, Bray was asked about the military firing at UAPs. And I assume we've never discharged any armaments against a UAP, correct? That's correct. But Corbell said no one knows where the UAPs come from. I've obtained documentation that these UAPs are not other nations' assets, such as Russia, because the U.S. Air Force has documented incidents where nations fired on the same UAP, Corbell told the paper. So whoever's controlling these units, it's not the usual suspects They are not ours or Russia's, which would make you think that they're also not China's. So the plot continues. We got these lights off San Diego. I want you guys to let me know in the comments, do you think that they're flares? Do you think they're flares from a ship? Do you think they're flares from an aircraft, like the footage we saw? What do you make of all of this? Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you know anybody in the Air Force, the Navy, can you reach out to them and show them this footage? I'll leave the video link in the description below, and you can show them. And let's kind of see if we can hash this out ourselves rather than waiting for the Navy to come out and say, oh, it was flares or whatever. Let's just see if it's even possible, if it's something that we are capable of doing ourselves, and that how long these actually stay in the air. If you guys think it's aliens, let me know why. If you have more information on this, let me know in the comments down below. Let's engage with one another, folks, and have a little bit of fun. I hope all of you are having a lovely supernatural Saturdays. If you are an avid listener of the Bald Brad Show, we are on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. The Podbean link for the website is down below that you can reach all those platforms. We're on YouTube, Rumble, all that fun stuff. So be on the lookout for all of that tomorrow for our Sunday show. If I don't hear from you Sunday or Monday because you're busy, have a lovely 4th of July, folks. We will be up and running here at the Bald Brad Show starting tomorrow. So with that being said, have a lovely Saturday, and I'll see you later here on the Bald Brad Show.